Let's see, where should we go? Let's get some drums. Those are also big. MIDI box, let's double time it. Actually, I've got controls down here. Now we need a little attitudes. Let's go up here to the top. Not quite right. Let's go to another group. That could be fun. Let's do this. Let's try to trick it out a little bit. Let's go over here and say synced. Now, I have noise box in here so I can let's have Pump House do something fun on top. Down. And maybe a little delay. That'd be fun to write too. Although the triangle's getting to me a little bit, so I started the triangle. Let's do this. Let's have it do a fun random note pitch. So let's go. Notes is fine. A 16th notes. Let's see, phase 0. Tuck it down there a little bit. Now to test it, what I do all the time, I go to standard library, bass splits. So this is Groove Summit. This is coming on Thursday. Let's see here. Let's say hi to everybody. Hello. Uh-oh. Did my camera? I had this on, but did the battery die? What happened? I might have to change batteries really quick. Yeah, change battery. Let me get a different battery just to be safe. This is why you have extra batteries sitting around your desktop all the time, just in case they go out. Hello. Well, welcome to the live stream. There we go. Hello. Let's see if I go full screen just for a second so I can see what this looks like. Ah, that's not bad. Let's get this back a little bit. I like the glue. We've got, you know, quartz. Got to have a little quartz in the room for some energy. Got some salts, you know. This needs to be centered a little bit better. So there. Anyway, hello, welcome. How you doing? This is our weekly live stream we do. I messed up my monitors a little bit. My name's John Limcool. I own plugandgroove.com, your local neighborhood 7-Eleven for sounds. Let's see if we go Plug and Groove. Let me just show you what's going on really quickly. So at the website, we have released the plugins Theia and Hyperion by our friend Wave Sequencer. If you go under products, by the way, because it was born in March, I have a special sale going on Rad Waves. This is a library that's normally $52. This week it's on sale for $25. So if you want some really cool, interesting sounds, it's a library of 169 patches. I sampled any of these that say Rad. Let's see, let's go just, oh, wait. You know what I got to do? Before I do anything, I better save what I'd made. So let's see, let's get rid of our bass piano split. So we still have, so I want to save that. That's a pretty good groove. So I'm going to give you a little demo of Groove Summit in a minute. I'll explain what's going on. And then at the end, there's like 20 minutes extra, we'll make some more grooves. But let's go save. This goes into the Summit, because the Summit is where all of the different components of this library get to play. And I tend to think this is more acoustic than electronic, although it's kind of a hybrid. So I'll put it in camp 02. I have 3 camps at the Summit, actually. There's 3 different groups of people that made it to the Summit at the same time. Let's see. How about joyous get together? We'll call it that for now. BPM drum, and I gotta fix the names and stuff like that. Save. So this is a library I've been working on since October when I bought this red drum set, Yamaha Power V drum set from someone here in the Boise area. He had it on sale on Facebook Marketplace for $200. And so I bought it, and then that led down a rabbit hole, and I bought cymbals, and I bought a couple different snare drums. And so there's 5 camps because there's 5 different types of grooves in this library, and then the Summit, they all get together and play. And camp 3 is where well, here, if we go drum kit, the library now is at 760 patches. I'll explain why really quickly. So there's drum kits. If you call this up, you'll notice that it's layer based. I'm doing this kind of like the old samplers, when the Roland and the Akai samplers, Roland especially went really heavy into a modular component design so that you'd have a drum set, but the kick is its own layer, this snare is its own layer, you know. In this case, I have the side stick as its own separate component. I'm supposed to have a clap. I don't have a clap, so I could go down here to like camp 4. This is my, actually I gotta go below this to the drum map. There's over 250 drum map patches. As you can see, there's claps. So if I say just to instrument 1 layer and I choose, let's do where's my synthy clap? I have a clap that's a synthy clap somewhere. Maybe I put it into camp 3. Maybe what I can do is I do some cheating sometimes where I call up the clap. Then I can go down here, and the thing that's cool with these is that these layers, or sometimes it's a layer, sometimes it's the actual map itself, because you can see I have all these drum maps for all of these elements. For synth, for camp 4 is synth, and camp 3 is acoustic. So you have acoustic drum maps and synth drum maps. These are all available as patches. So let me get my clap that I want. I want to go up here to C4 clap. Is it? It's not that one. It's this one right there. That sounds pretty good. Although I'm going to turn it down just a little bit in the mix. Let me save this as an update because, oh, but I don't want modified at the end of the name. It does that sometimes when you add layers. So update. Anyway, there are all of these. If I go back to normal load, there's all these acoustic kits because I recorded the drums. There's Dede, where I recorded the snare. And there's Crash, China, Splash, Ride Bell, and Edge. So there's acoustic drum kits. They sound really great. Okay, and then you get to Camp 4. These are break beats. But it's still modular, so if I go over here and I set this to unify one layer, I could go to the drum maps to C3, and I could add an acoustic kick, and I could add like a cool, like, let's say, dead snare. So I can build my own drum kits. You can build your own drum kits by choosing your choice of hats. There's all these synth hi-hats you could layer. You could layer these with the, and then if you want, you can go over here to the list in the sampler. So you have all of these elements to easily make your own drum kits to play, or we have all these tons and tons and tons and tons of grooves. So when you get to the, I went crazy on the names. I'm not apologizing for having long names because I asked on purpose for us to be able to have long names so we can do all sorts of fun stuff with names like this. So you just have to click right here and drag to resize it to see the names when you get this library because it's huge. It's going to be probably 1.5, maybe 2 gigabytes in size. And it starts with drum loops that are from Heartbeat. This is my friends in Germany. They did all these there's 75 of these just weird. Right? Just crazy stuff. But what's fun is that by taking those, let's just go Unify Layer and go to Camp 2. This is breakbeats. Right? And I can open this up because this is... Let's go back to Camp 1 and choose something else. Get cool, weird grooves. Camp 3, this is the acoustic drum set. So we could say like a snazzy jazz. I got a real drum kit. Camp 4, I have to build. That's what I'm doing this week. I've done everything else but Camp 4, but I've made all of the drum kits. So I have all these really cool synth drum kits. Camp 5 is percussion. 17 instruments, each with at least 10 grooves per category. So if you go to congas, here's a woodblock clave, tambourines, go-go's. So you can make your own grooves just by clicking around through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of grooves. I'm really excited with how this turned out. Your triangle. And then any of these that are layers, you could go in and synthesize, add effects, because the insert effects are right here for distortion, all sorts of things. So let's make another summit. This is summit. The O2 camp is kind of like the hybrid between percussion and drums and electronics. So it's kind of a mix of them. So we're going to say Hyper Happy. How's that for a funny name? Save as save. Now, if you look here at the summit, I've been making a bunch of grooves. The ones are all like heavy on the acoustic though. You really get an acoustic vibe. Two is the hybrid where it's electric, synthetic, all sorts of. But the feel is great because it's all based on MIDI files that I've programmed. So I've been making literally hundreds, if not thousands of MIDI files at this point. And then Camp 3 is just percussion. So there will be a series of the summits that are just the percussion groups just by themselves. Because then you can like layer those with other drums and stuff like that. If you get down here to the drum kits, there's some really cool these I'm going to be making grooves this week. With all these guys. We even have like some really cool fat 808s. So it's a really cool groove library. It's coming out really great, really happy with it. So it's been a massive amount of work. I'm not going to sell this for $20. So don't think that way, because this is a lot more work than that. So there's plugins for $400 that don't have a fraction of what this has. Won't be anywhere near $400, but I am not going to just give it away because, you know, there's so many cool sounds in this. To put it all together like this has taken my brain a massive, it's been a very deep handful of months here working in rhythm. I look at everything and I see rhythmic patterns. So anyway, so I'll show you, we'll make some more grooves at the end of this. We made 2. I wasn't even counting on making 2 while showing it, but it's just that easy and addictive. Any one of these just grooves all by themselves. And like I showed you, I've been working really hard so that if you go to the BPM splits or other parts of libraries and the bass splits, if I load this into UNIFY, probably want to turn it down a little bit because this might be a little bit loud. But everything is, you know, so I have been programming and then making sure I'm working in context of the voicing of UNIFY so that it just it works. So that has been what I've been working on. And next Thursday, oh, by the way, so I did make these images for each of the camps. So check this out. When you call up the libraries and you click in the artwork, it will tell you what camp you're in, because each I don't know, it's silly, but it's fun. Thanks to AI and relentless using of text prompts and stuff and saying, no, I wanted to do this and do that. I've gotten it to do these. So this is pretty funny. So the concept of this library is it's you're climbing a mountain, right? So the artwork kind of shows this mountain with drums on top, and there's 5 different camps represented by color. This isn't the final artwork, but it's pretty close. So camp 1 is the ESC. Henrik, this lovely gentleman from Germany, made all of these grooves. And this is actually only half of the ESC heartbeat grooves. There will be a volume 2 of this library if I ever feel like climbing on this horse again. Maybe later this year, maybe in a year, I don't know. But I took its first 75. I didn't even like go through and pick out like best. It's just the first 75, and then the second 75 are there for another library later this year or next, like I said, whenever. But this is the ESC grooves. It's heartbeats. So it's all the just kind of kitschy. You don't know what you're going to get in each tent you go to and stuff. Camp 2 is breakbeats. So they're having a dance breakbeat jam at Camp 2 on their way to the top of the mountain. They took off their mountain shoes and stuff like that, and they've put on dance clubs shoes and dressed up. All these girls come up out of the mountains. I don't know, but you know, get the idea. So, and now Camp 3 is acoustic drums. So here's a drum set ready for them to jam. Because once you've done climbing to Camp 3 and you're exhausted, of course, the first thing you want to do is hop on a drum set and play. So got an acoustic drum set. I know it's got way too many cymbals and stuff, but it's just more to get the message there. Camp 4 is all drum machines. So we've got all these drum machines and stuff like that. And we're getting close to the summit, so it's far colder. They can't be out there very long before they get, like, you know, frostbite on their fingers and stuff. But still, they have this playing all night while they're sleeping. They have jams playing because they were into melodic techno when they were climbing up this mountain. Camp 4 is all percussion. So we've got percussive instruments lying around while they're waiting for to get to the summit. And then finally they get to the summit, which is here. So I'm having fun. You got to have fun when you do these things. And UNIFY is flexible enough. I could do all these crazy fun things to it. So it's really, really fun. It's cool to have rhythm in the context of like a synthesizer engine so that you can take any of these and... First of all, there's knobs down here for adding all sorts of effects and distortion. Go phasing. Turn on pump house. You know, all sorts of ways to mess things up here before you start getting into the synth parameters and pitch LFOs and all that kind of stuff. So really, really fun. So that is coming out Thursday. If I can make it, I'm going to not get much sleep this coming week. So it's going to be really cool. It sounds really good. I'm blown away. Everything in this, the one thing with this library is you got to realize this. Most things you see people selling are drum machine samples. They're sampling all these cool classic drum machines. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. You don't have to make anything new. Everything in this library is new. The breakbeats are chopped up from drum beats and then resequenced. So that's not even the original groove of the breakbeats. All these patches that are in the Camp 1, Henrik made these. And I have little indicators here to show whether if it's got a horseshoe, that means it's more groove oriented. So if you choose one that's got a... Go to instrument 1. Go over here to normal. Actually, let's go back to UNIFY layer. Let's go to Camp 3 and say Sly Funk. Right there. 3 grooves. You have all new drum sounds. I recorded the drums in my entryway behind me for the drums. All the synth drums for all these. Check out these kits. The drum kit, not BPM, got to get through all this BPM stuff forever and ever, but all these Clubhouse, there's going to be tons of techno, EDM, rhythmic techno, ambient techno. These are all sounds you haven't heard before. I made new kicks from scratch. Same with the snares. They're all new. So it's new source for literally gigabytes of new drum sounds. So it's a huge infusion of new. It doesn't sound like anything else. There's none of these summit grooves where I can go anywhere that I can even think of and buy something that gives me this. So could we have the patterns knob? Oh, yeah, it's one of those things I will, because all of these, I will make for each one of the camps for see how I have the naming for Camp 5 percussion. There's 17 different numbers after that for the 17 instruments. And if I go to triangle, if I go to MIDI box, I do have, these were all just done by the singles, but if I go over here, I do have a stack. And I'll do a stack and I'll assign a knob to change patterns and save that as the pattern variations so that you'll be able to cycle between all of them with your knob, and I'll make it the same knob for everything. I'll do that. So every one of the categories, when you go to the C3 drums, there's 8 different acoustic drum sets. I've still got like 3 more drum sets to make patterns for. I'm not done there. There's the dead high kit. There's no snare. There's snappy. And then there's the ambient kit. And again, you go to page 2, distortion. It's so cool. It's great. So yeah, I will make a pattern variation for each of these group breakdowns. Cause so for kit 1, it's just the way I designed this, it's only one MIDI file playing everything. And then I have everything attached to listen to this MIDI file. So if you go to this MIDI file, and if I set it to be the stack version, there's a stack for every one of these, then all of those patterns are right here. So I'd be able to set up a knob. I'm also going to have a key knob, which is kind of fun, which is going to take some work to program. But if I go over here real quick, this isn't set up right. So if I go MIDI box, track number. Then now you have the pattern, and I'll save this as a special similar name for every one of the groups, even in all the different camps. The only ones where it gets kind of funky, the ambi hot, the way that I designed these is that Guru Sampler is playing literally 127 samples. If it took up to 127 samples, so this had the grooves for 7 and through 15. So 7 through 15 are all found on this one sample map. Which means there's 7 different maps of drum samples. You'd be able to cycle between those 7. I'd have to make like some sort of maybe camp 1, I might not be able to do it because I think that'd be confusing. But all the other camps, break beats, this is all done with one sample map that I just picked out my favorite samples from all these breakbeat samples that I recycled and then put them in here. So if I go here to, instead of Groove Summit 1, I could choose Groove Summit Stack, and now all 40 of these are there. So yeah, we'll do that for these guys. So anyway, it's really fun to kind of rethink how to do drums and make it super flexible. And it's gonna be everywhere. I'll probably be making bonus content for this after I release it, because I don't see how I can get everything I want to do in my head into this. It will be over 1,000 patches before I'm done with this. But play too much with the knob and you may get your hand slapped. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is going option. It's in the camp of stylists and stuff like that. I'm not trying to be stylist because it's of course a plugin with its own interface with chaos and all that cool stuff. But you know, I love groove. I'm a groove monkey from day one. I used to play kitchen stuff with drumsticks that were made out of Legos. Well, actually, before Legos, we had these things that were wood. What did we call those, guys? Is it also possible to make different breaks with unified drums when you play with the sounds? Absolutely. Any of these that you call up, let's say that we go to one of the drum sets, like here, right? And it's playing a groove. If you bypass MIDI box, it's now, you can sequence away. Tinker Toys, that was it. Yes, Tinker Toys. I made drumsticks with Tinker Toys with the little round wafer types on sticks and then played in the kitchen. My mom used to always have to kick me out of the kitchen because I had set up pans upside down and all sorts of, from like when I was 3 years old. So, but yeah, if you turn off MIDI box to any of these, Even the shakers. This is a map that has all of these shaker samples from the same shaker from the same session. And if you turn off MIDI box, you've got 60 some samples to play and find your own unique pattern with all this. You know, acoustic instruments are one of those things, every time you play it, it's different. Unless you're Alex Acuna or somebody like that that's got the incredible control, you're going to be... And I'm going to make a free support video that will be included with the library with some rhythmic tips and tricks that I'm not going to talk about live, but just include with the library. So there will be some programming tips on how to use this library, how to make patterns and get the most out of them using something where, you know, this isn't a go-go, but if you turn this off, you got a low go-go. And I did these in UNIFY so that the low go-go is one menu because you have notes and mutes. So, but the high one is a separate menu and it has its mutes too. So you can play just opens. But if you get into the more complex, some of these patterns that I have in here with the busy mutes and stuff are really cool. And that's because they're exclusive channels just to each of the two Agogos. So if you take this, you add the cowbell, you add a pill bottle that I used as a shaker, you got tons of samples for that. And then like a disco girl, you know, off you go. In fact, I'm going to save that because I want to make more things like that. But that's like, let's see, Summit. This is 01 because it's all acoustic oriented with drums. Disco Get Down. Because I'm just saving everything I do because, again, I'm climbing my own summit to make summit of getting to at least 1,000 patches. So, yeah, Break Tweaker was really cool. This is similar to that. In other words, one thing that's kind of cool also, say you take the Disco Groove drum kit, you can go to the snare drum, open this up, and now you have the drum maps for all the different snares. So you could, we're not, if you change to the toms, you won't hear it. You just have to have snares, right? So you can change them all around. I've got to move on because I got more stuff to show you guys, but I'm super excited with how this is turning out. So anyway, Groove Summit coming out Thursday. We'll make maybe some more grooves at the end. If we don't, I won't feel bad because I've been making grooves as I've just shown it to you. So that's really cool. The other thing that's really cool to show you guys is wow, you're loud. Let me turn you down just a little bit. A handful of months ago, I showed you in a video about this. Let's see, like go over here to OBS so I can see what I'm doing. So let's go just to the camera for a second. So this is, you know, it's super cool. This is the multi-poly from Korg, and they hired me to work on it, make patches, and help a little bit with the development. It's now available in software. And so it is, if we go init, and we say multi-poly, there it is. There it is. Let's see if I get this so you can see it like this. And maybe we'll have this camera disappear for the moment. That one. This is a new plugin that has just been released this week. And it sounds identically the same to the hardware. I'm playing the two, you can't even tell. Because the Korg does a very cool thing to make cost be affordable. One way to do that is to limit the amount of reworking you have to do to get something from a hardware to a software, right? Because there are some customers that they don't want any more hardware and they just want software. And there's some people that are playing live that they only use hardware. And there's other people in between that want hardware. And then sometimes they want to go someplace and take it and play with it on the airplane, right? And they want it to be compatible. And so it's taken a lot of work. Korg has studied this very closely and come up with a system. They've used it for the wave state and the mod wave and op6 and so forth, where they can do the developmental time to make a really kick-ass synthesizer, and they can make it in a form where it can show up in hardware. And then it takes them a while. The interface that we had for programming the factory patches was not this nice. I'll tell you that. They've gone through and refined it and put it into color-coded for the different layers to be in different colors. As you can see, purple, green. You know, we didn't have any of that kind of cool stuff. So this is the multi-poly, and it's based on the monopoly, which is a synth Korg brought out a long time ago that was a 4-oscillator synthesizer. And so it was really, 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 really cool. 4 oscillators is just, it's a beautiful sound. You take, let's do this. Let's go over here to init, and I'll show you a little bit about the engine. This engine in this machine is just absolutely frightening. First of all, there's 3 different synthesis modes here. There's classic, and if you click here, you actually have some more complex than your traditional triangle, pull, and all that kind of stuff. You even have detunes. So one os by itself can actually be more than one oscillator, which is really great. Let's just say one oscillator, and turn on oscillator 2, and oscillator 3, that's -10, and oscillator 4. Let's take it down an octave. And then you have a killer filter. It just gets into all these yummy... the distinction between analog and digital is kind of a non-issue at this point for me anymore. Especially when you get into such things as the voice drifting, where you can have all these choices for drifting and scale. Go back over here to filter A. Let's go over here, turn on the envelope. And then down here, like pigments, they have all the different modulation sources. You just click them to see, and then down here are the parameters. So filter A. Even up here, there's no aliasing, there's no ugliness. It's all been, math has finally solved all of those back horrible problems. Incredible. Even such things like, if you want, you can go over here to the, where is it at? I love this. Go to these things here are global. The chord setup. I want to go. Is it? Where's it at? They have this. Maybe it's got to be here in the global stuff. Keyboard setup. There's a chord memorizer now. Is it here? I'll find it at some point, but oh, setup and chord. Here we go. Turn on chord, and then say enter a chord. You can, and now I have a single note. Then turn on the arpeggiator, and off you go. It's crazy. So that's just using one form of synthesis for it. And let me show you real quickly. Let's go over here. I consider this not to be a smooth way to do it, but if you've initialized the patch and you've made something, and then you want to go back to the initialized patch, you have to do this dance because you can't just reload it. I hope they fix that. But check this out. Under the synthesis page, there's also a wavetable, which you can choose some of these really cool complex ones. I think some of mine, if you go down the list and you say the author, I think they now say Korg, but some of these, like the monsters and stuff, are ones I created that they licensed for the mod wave, and now they've put them into here. If you want to modulate anything that's not already set up with knobs and stuff, is when you click a parameter, over here is modulation, and all you do is hit the plus button and choose what you want it to be from the list. So let's say we want to say maybe the PWM morphing LFO, then bring up the intensity. And it has unison. If you go over here, I found this. This is an Korg and setup. You can say 8 voices of unison. Let's make it be super thick and stereo. And so you can get into all sorts of cool growly kind of things like that. If you go back to synthesis, we could go to oscillator 2, turn this on, and then go over here to the mixer and turn down oscillator 2. But let's have oscillator 2 do ring modulation. And we could also have this be modulated with that same morph LFO. So we go over here and say generators. So you can get all sorts of dirty schmutz like you can from a traditional wavetable synthesizer. So it's able to go all to those sorts of places like that. Here, let's turn these off so that they're... There's also what's more like West Coast synthesis. It's wave shaper based. So if you want to have the gain all the way down and turn off ring mod and play just oscillator 1, at 50, you get a sine wave. So if you notice on the synth list, there's no sine wave. It's because the sine wave is over here under the wave shaper when you have it with no gain and with no pulse width. So it's just playing one oscillator, because wave shaper is kind of a form of phase distortion synthesis. So you're getting into harmonics from mixing different synth waveforms. You can even choose right here what input you want it to be. So if you go over here and modulate that, again, this is a whole like the Korg mono poly analog synthesizer that's all beautiful and stuff is just one of 3 synthesis modes this has. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a very, very powerful beast in every respect. If you go over here to effects, you have pre-effects, you have delay, and then you have a modulation effect per each of these oscillator layers. Per layers, this is so each layer can have its own synthesis stuff going on there, and then there's a global main effect which you can turn on, and then right here is the sins for reverb. And you can go over here to time, make it longer. And don't skimp on the main EQ. This has some serious tonal shaping capabilities. And this is just one layer, one oscillator. So I said we'd try to make a patch maybe, and we'll do that in a little bit. I want to just keep playing around a little bit more before we focus on that. Let's see, let's slow down the mod LFO. Isn't that beautiful? Maybe we'll make something from this. Let's choose a wave table for oscillator 2. We can go to the mixer and turn it back up. Let's do a synthesis organ for fun. Let's go over here to voice setup. Say like maybe 3 voices of polyphony. You can do multiple voice unison. But let's make it synthetic. Let's have some fun with the filter and stuff. One of the cool things in here is this thing called sequencer, which is a multi-lane, very, very powerful 4 possible lanes with different values, shape-based modulation sequencer. And it's super, super cool to play with. Let's play with that. So let's have that assigned to the LFO. So let's go over here. It's not in the list, so we hit plus. Let's say generator, sequencer step A. I'm gonna give it a value of like, say 80, but I don't hear it yet because I haven't set this up. First, I have to say use shape as its modulation source, and then I'm gonna choose what shape I want it to be. And I'm actually gonna just choose exponential down, and then bring my loop to start with. You can click the little red dot so that it's, and then let's do this. Let's just, let's do this. Go to the main effects. Maybe I don't want to go into the negative. And now if I wanted to, I could open up this and I'm doing it in a loop of 5 if I wanted to make it a little bit more easy to follow. And then up here's timing. So if I wanted this to be like maybe a different timing value, like 8th notes. So let's see, I want to have it like here. So you can have your rhythmic values looping at different places and the shape values, which is different than the sequencer lane values for 4 different lanes of sequence data. Each one of these could have a different loop point. I could have this one here doing something with only 2 steps, let's say on a, let's have this be controlling the volume of this one. So let's say volume of 3 down. Let's say, let's have sequencer generator B. Let's see what it's doing. Let's turn off A and B for a second. There it goes. So I could go over here to sequencer and control the divide. That's this. You know, I think I need one more. Let's see. Let's see. Go over here to 16th. I want it to be. I'm a 4/4 counter, so I'm guilty. But one. Okay, so we have it. It's cycling. It's in 4 now, so it's a little bit easier to follow. Let's go back to synthesis. Turn on A and B. And for a lot of synthesizers, that's as far as you could go. But this is layer A of 4 layers. So let's turn off layer A and let's focus on layer B for a second and turn this on. And let's make this super simple. Let's just go detune. And let's have another one that's an octave lower for just a monster big pad. And it has its own envelopes and everything. So I'm going to go over here to amp and have a slow release. And let's have it start and do a nice little filter sweep. Like this. Go over here to our filter A shape and make it be like a slow grow, long release. So it's going to grow. And let's add some effects to this one. So let's go effects, modulation effects, chorus. And let's turn on the delay for fun, just to have it have. Now, it doesn't have any reverb unless I go over here and I bring up the reverb send on it. So that's one layer. Let's go over here to our keyboard zones and setups. I need to find out where my total volume is for these guys, because I don't want to blow it up. Would that be maybe on, let's see, the main effects. As you can see, you have key ranges and stuff like that. I think I gotta go to the layers to here. Let's see, do I have it's been a while since I programmed actually on these units. So let's bring, I don't want to have to do it this way, but I guess I do. So bring these down a little bit here. I'm sure that there is a global volume. Now, if you want to do pan doesn't work unless you turn this on, and then it takes 2 notes of polyphony. So just be aware that's available if you want it. And maybe I want a different set of delays and stuff on A. So let's go effects. Delays, let's say BPM tape head, time is, where's my time? Let's see here. Double click, say A. Top right of the interface. Well, that's the global master. I'm just looking at like per layer, and there's got to be something somewhere. I'm just not. to modify this. Let's see. You know what you might do? This is where you get into the math processors and all these things where you can like lag and all that. I don't really want to do that right now in a live stream, but you know, I'm kind of working faster than I normally do just because, of course, you guys are here watching. So I want the filter to open a little quicker. Another nice thing to be aware of is there's curve with different values for the attack, decay, and release. So you can have the curvature be more linear or exponential if you want. I just love how massive it can sound. And that's only 2 oscillators. Let's turn on the 3rd oscillator. Right here, there should be a global volume. I'm just not seeing it, so. Oh, wait, is there? No, that's pitch. Nice. So yeah, okay, that's a good start. So let's call this, goes save performance. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to save it here because I want to get it to you guys. So this is going to be saved as a unified patch. I've unified this library, so it's available. So we can go save, and we'll call this pad. Oh, it's BPM pad because it's got some rhythm in it. BPM pad. Blue. What am I calling it? So. Right, it's ready for a rhythm to be added to it, right? Just call it Beautiful Blue. And the library will put it into the unified multi-poly, and we'll put a Z so it shows up at the end of the list. This is a BPM pad, rhythmic, swell. Patch during the, what is this, March 8th. Oh my gosh, March 8th live stream, and go save as save. So if you go to the unified library, there's a link in the video description if you own the multi-poly. We've, thanks to Shane, saving my butt with his automated tools. Let's do this. Let's sweeten a little bit by adding some stuff in UNIFY. We'll go Master Optimizer Light and turn this down a little bit. I'll do this. We should turn it down here too. So. I call it the spread 6 voice. That's how I would do my volume testing on pads and stuff, is I play big wide pads with 6 notes at full velocity to see what the volume level is. Make sure it's not distorting. I want layer B a little bit brighter. I mean, there's so much we could do to this to get other stuff going, but we'll just save it like that. Save. Now let me go to the desktop and say new. Let's do this really quick. I told you I would give you this patch, so I will do so. So what we have to do is go reveal in Finder, go up to the libraries folder, and we'll go multi-poly, copy that into the libraries folder, and then I'm going to go in here to the patches folder and delete everything but that one. So this will just give you this one patch. It will put it into the unified library. So you should have that installed first before you do this. Compress, and we call this the unified, let's see, unified multi-poly bonus .guru. Use guru. Now let's compress that one more time. So you're going to download a zip. Let me go to Mr. Dropbox, please. Hello, Dropbox. Come over here. This is why it's so cool to have this big monitor. I love it. So I go unified libraries. Oh, let's do this. Let's put this into the guru freebies right here. Korg Multi Poly. And we'll put this here and then copy the Dropbox link. And there you go. So if you want, you can download this patch that I just made right there. It's a good start. Let me show you some of the other patches in the library. Just to give you, you know, if you spend some hours at the sounds, of course, you will get to now get back to 1969. There's so many patches by so many different people. Somebody asked who the team was behind this synthesizer, and a lot of them are in this list. I'll just give you some things. Bill Barton is one of the big coding masterminds behind, and he made some patches in here. Dan Phillips is one of the main architects behind this synth for the designing, and he made a couple patches. By the way, Andy Leary is the manager of Korg R&D. He started as a software engineer dude many years ago, right after the Wave Station came out. And now he's the big cheese. So shout out to those guys. Francis Preve is a good programmer that my brother from another mother, well, Houston Singletary's here as well. And then Jack Hotop, my brother from another mother that's in New York. He makes all the faces when he plays these patches. By the way, at the top of the list, if you play Airwaves patches, there's so many cool rhythmic stuff. He's done libraries for us at the website, of course. Just really cool, inspiring patches by a lot of people in here. I did some crazy patches down here. Rave Monsters Fun for the... This is using all 4 layers to do different things. So if you turn off the different layers, this is doing the bass, and then this is using the keyboard setup to split. So you can see that 3 layers, A, B, and C, are in the bottom half of the keyboard. I use B just for the kick, so I could play around with that stuff. And then C's the hi-hats. So that's your left hand. And then in the right hand, I came up with this really weird, check this out. Well, here, we can keep these guys on because they're not playing in the right hand, but it's using wavetables and synthesis, and went through some things. It does this really cool resonant drop because the resonance, I think on filter, is really high on filter B, and then it comes down to this cool. So you can get into all sorts of fun trouble if you play around with this. Evil Reckoning, these are the... This is your dubsteppy kind of stuff you can do with this if you get into using... Uh-oh. I always hit cancel instead of hitting select. This is just one layer. With the wavetable, and I'm using the sequencer as the shapes for the LFO. Normally inside a SYRM or something, you have like something in the LFO without it repeating. I'm using the sequencer to trigger the wave shaper. So that way, if you go to the sequencer, if you change this, if you open it up, let's see, I don't have this. I have it going to stop and stuff, so I have some different things going on. But anyway, if you set it to looping and all that kind of stuff, it would play. So you can change the shape. So you see how that works. Excuse me. See how that works. So it's lots of fun. This is the patch that starts nice and simple for. Then on the mod wheel, you can open up. And again, this is just one layer. So you can cycle between those kind of things. All sorts of stuff for fun. Camera I was like for... You know, that kind of vibe. There's other stuff in here. Cybernetic Squealer is just one half. Oh, the other one's really fun in here. Where is my... Well, Discovery Piano's really cool. Oh, Miami Overdrive is the other one that I spent literally days on. Let's see. Just one note. Now there's 4 macro knobs. If you move 2, you get the kick and then filter fun. Delays and reverb to play with. So you got macro knobs you can set up to do live things. So one note, you know, silliest things, but it kind of shows off the engine doing all sorts of stuff. So you can solo out each layer. Using the chord. So if you go down here, or how did I do it? I don't even know how I did it. I'm not using the chord. Oh, you know what it is? It's step sequencer, of course, because the step sequencer is doing all this. And it's doing a melody. And then layer 2. Let's see. Oh, that's what it is. Sorry. So if I just turn on, I had A and C and I didn't know it. So it's playing a melody. And then there's a bass on B. And you can see I'm using this for the filter. So the bass line is on B, and then C. Now, is this the one that's using a chord? No, I'm just using probably oscillators tuned to different settings. Yeah, transposed. And then D is the drums. So you put that all together and it plays. So anyway, it's a really cool plugin. It was very fun to work on it and kind of push it in different places. We've unified it so you can go to any of the patches and just call them up. And it sounds great. So I'm really happy to have it turned out. Is it time for Skippy to get a Grammy? No. And of course, the reason why it's fun in UNIFY is you can say UNIFY layer, and you can now layer all these patches together. Right? So it sounds great, layered and thick and all that kind of stuff. Here, let's do this. I call it Miami Overdrive one more time as its unified patch, and there's a free plugin that I want to tell you about. It's from Trittic, T-R-I-T-I-K. It's called Crush. I might have mentioned this in the past. I can't remember if I did or not. It can totally tear stuff apart. There's a quick reset. You have just a little bit added to the track. So it's cool for adding things. If you need bit crushing and stuff, I found this and thought it was pretty cool. Let me give you the website for it. The link for Korg, by the way, is already in the video description. I'll just give you Trittic's whole website. And then down the list, they have this. Where's it at? Right here. Boo, boo, boo. Crush. I've got a crush on you. Poof. And here's the link to the video description. All Korg needs to do now is bring out an iOS version. Yeah, you know, we'll see. The challenge is that if you have an Intel computer, multi-poly is a hungry synth because it is 4 layers of 4 oscillators. It does have unison. It can get to playing 64 notes oscillator-wise with 2 filters per layer, and there's 4 layers of that. So that's an awful lot of CPU power, plus all the effects per layer, plus the master effects are of really high quality. I don't know if an iPad has enough juice to do more than just play this. I'm not sure if they're going to bring it out in iOS or not. I don't know. Oh, hi, Keith. Yeah, I did. I did grab those. Keith, by the way, I should point this out. If you guys are into playing with wavetables, Keith, what's your website? Let's see. Kay Crosley, here they are. He has talk about a massive amount of work. This is a labor of love. I can tell you right now. He has, here's his website. If you want these, very affordably priced. I think it's like $5 for these. It's literally megabytes and megabytes. It's like, it will end up being a couple, like, I think 5 gigabytes on your hard drive of using free sample libraries and then taking the samples and pulling out wavetables and then putting them into Korg formats so that you can play with them. really, really cool. He also, once you get this, he has options. You can get this. There's another set of wavetables he has as well. Yeah, wavetables.l. So he's got the math waves sampler pack, which I think is free. And then for $29, you can get like literally hundreds of thousands of wavetables and stuff like that. They actually spread out all the controls and add more sliders. Yeah, they actually spread out the controls. Yeah, that's a good one, Paul. I agree. And for all the wavetable formats, including MP bundles. Yeah. So everything's available already in native multi-poly mode because the hardware version of the multi-poly came out and Keith supported it right away, which is really cool. So if you want some, and he's got really cool examples showing how it works, and there's a video that he's got you can watch to see how it works. I've installed them. I haven't actually loaded them in and played with them yet because I've been kind of busy in my rhythm programming land that I'm doing and stuff like that. But it's really cool stuff. So I'm glad he's here. Welcome, Keith. Yeah, man. Good job. That's a huge amount of work to do that, for sure. Let's see here. Where are we at? All right, we got like a few minutes left. Any questions? I'm always busy. I love being busy. I love doing stuff. It's keeps me young at heart, you know? So yeah, we're busy here. Also, I think I still have in the video description, if you own, I love the synths that were made. Oh wait, we got the Bass Station Unified is here. FilterVerse, there's really, really incredible stuff that Erez Eisen did. I can't wait to see what their synth sounds like because they are obviously working on a synthesizer. UNIFY is a really cool prototyping playground for people. I've heard of audio effects people have designed where they've designed them first in UNIFY because you have insert effects for auxiliary buses. You can get set up all sorts of crazy things. I have even modeled synth audio effects that I want to make and stuff like that. Well, here's a case where Erez, because we send MIDI data to audio effects automatically, he set up, they have an oscillator section inside of FilterVerse, and then they set up the tools and stuff so that they could route it back into the engine so that this sounds so good. So he sent me his patches. So these are all his patches that he created. And then there's macro knobs. So you can play with these in really cool ways. If you need cool, unique sounds, he started Infected Mushroom. So if you go Infected Mushroom, it's there. The sounds that kind of made them who they are in the psytrance world. So those are there. Let's play with Groove Summit for 15 minutes or so. Yeah, if you have FilterVerse, you have to get this free little library. And I think it's still in the video description. I'm going to put a link on the website where I have the unified libraries. We'll put it there for you to download if you don't have it already. We've unified all the Hyperion libraries. So if you own Hyperion and you need creative sounds, a cinematic landscape and pick and mix are super popular, and classic tones is equally, it didn't sell. We had an introductory sale. The biggest sales were to the cinematic library because it has all these really, really cool, you guys like these kind of sounds, it seems so. There's tons of them. There's all these ambiences and experimentals and great pads that have all sorts. Sounds so good. So we've unified all those for those of you that have Hyperion and Theia. If you bought them from Traction, which is the other website that sells Paul's wave sequencer products, if you send us just contact us through the website or send an email, unifysupport@pluginguru.com. Just include a copy of your receipt of your purchase from Traction, and we will send you the unified library for the libraries that you own so that you can get them. Because then you can play with these, because it's really fun to have them in unified format. So you can go over here and say multi-poly. I call UNIFY our doggy park for plugins, because all these plugins get to play together. So we can go Bass Station, and we can call up a cool BPM ARP. So 3 companies' products are able to play together inside of UNIFY. So let's take this down an octave. Right? Really, really fun. Really, really fun. All right, let's make one more groove with Groove Summit. Let's say we want to do something really tricky. I'm going to do this. I'm going to call up. I don't know if I'll do this or not. Let me think for a minute, because let's do this. Let's use a drum kit and go drum kit, and let's do something with one of the drum maps, because I haven't used these. Now, it's a bit of a process, so you got to hang with me for 1 second. Let's go MIDI effects. I want to add MIDI box and jitterbox and jitterbox. I want it just to be. I'm actually going to have Shane do some of his deep magic surgery to put a jitterbox on all of the plugins, because one of the things that's cool with jitterbox is it's random timing, but it's also delay. So you can delay the timing of playing plus randomizing if you want with this, which is really, really fun. So let's do this. Let's go over here. I'm going to use a drum groove summit. Let's use something that it's really not. These are all the different categories for the patterns. Let's say dead pitch. Let's say, there's a typical, here's techno, so we'll go. Now, in order for it to work, I need to go over here and link all of the layers in. Let's get the main ones in. And let's get to a tempo in the techno world, 25. Uh-oh. Okay, it's working right. Now, let's do this. Let's, because this groove is just doing that, it doesn't need claps or synthy or all these other things. So we're going to simplify this a bit. And then I'm going to save this as a BPM drum, because we want a bunch of these BPM drum. This is from Camp 4. We'll just call it Clubhouse 1. I'll rename it for the final library. But I did this because I want to say init, and then I'm going to load this as a UNIFY layer and get rid of that. And then go to layer, preset, master presets, optimizer light. Let's look at this mix really quick in here. I want to, but now I can add some other stuff to it. So let's see what happens if we add some acoustic stuff. Let's say instrument 1 layer, go to camp 1. Let's get a couple different shakers. Let's get down from the African shakers, dancer, and a kabasa, and then pan these so that they're. I might want to pull the kick out on its own layer. Well, no, let's just leave it as it is for now. Let's go to camp 3, which is our drums. So we want to go to UNIFY layer because there's lots of layers. Let's layer acoustic drums, doing kind of a techno thing too. And then on top of that, let's go to camp 1. See if we can find something with like a big odd couple or something. And if that doesn't work, then you open up this UNIFY layer and now you can just search around. There we go. And then I want to get some sort of like really cool, strong. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the standard library, to BPM drum, to BPM, where is it? BPM hats. Let's say upbeats. And then I'm going to swap them out with something else. So say, I think I only need layer 1 to do this. Go upbeat 909. Let's open up this, and instead of here, let's go to Groove Summit. And let's play around with the different hi-hats. So if we go down here to the drum maps to hats. Let's see, where you at? Uh-oh. Oh, you know why? Probably because I'm not using a standard MIDI map for playing the... Let's see if I can find it, because I'm going to have to surf because it's not a known note and I can't see what note it is that it's playing. Oh, there's the open right there. Let's go over to our heartbeats. There we go. That's nice and crunchy. Let's pan it over here. Now, I want to just do a little... Let's do this. Let's put a... if we open up this UNIFY layer for the drums, I'm going to get rid of some of the low end so the kick drum comes more from the electronic source. So there's knob 3 is a high pass, low pass. So to the left, low pass. To the right, there. I want to have some of the acoustic drum in there, but not all of it. All right, so save. Let's go BPM drum, Summit, Copa. Like it's a Copacabana type of thing. So we'll go save as BPM drum. And I'll fill in the rest after the fact. But there's going to be a ton of synth drum kit stuff put into this. So let's see if that shows up right. So if I go Groove Summit, refresh the database, go to the Summit. Where's Copa? Oh, there it is right here. So we just need it to be like, not there, but that's like the whole thing. So I forgot to put what camp it's in. It's in camp 02. Because it's got some electronic elements in it. I need a space right there, please. Oh. Update. Oh, yeah. It's about Playbeat 4. Yeah. Playbeat 4 is, I can show you that really quick. I got that Playbeat 4 from Audio Modern. It's interesting. It's using AI for the patterns. I did some emailing back and forth with them because if you go to the Audio Modern website, they show, they have these expansions, right? And if you go to the expansions and you say just play beat, there's 16 different expansion libraries available for Playbeat. And it's confusing to me if it will up. The website always seems to be just a little bit sluggish. But while it's updating itself, I can show you how this works. There's different presets that you can call up. It's kind of a break tweaker-esque. If you're using it in UNIFY, you want to change it to keyboard mode so that you can play the... You have these different samples down below. Then you have these different elements to work with. It's kind of the alternate experimental rhythm side more than it is straight ahead. You can hit this random button and it will randomize everything. And then this controls the intensity of the randomize. And then if you want, you click right here. And first of all, you can turn on the AI button. And there's all these different patterns and stuff. You could say, I want Latin, grime, and glitch. And by selecting those three, when I click random, let's say 100%, so it does. Oh, I gotta play C. If you don't play this C2. So it's sample based, it's not synthesis based. So, and the thing that's confusing to me that I couldn't get quite the answer I wanted from them because I didn't understand. But if you go over here and you say, I just want to see the Playbeat libraries, right? It should show up so that it just shows you the Playbeats. But these that say included in Playbeat, they're included, but you don't see their presets. If you go to the, let's see, I think I can resize it so you can see it better. If you go to the expansions where it says packs, you don't see those expansions. It's like, well, if you're including these expansions with Playbeat, they should show up so you can call up the presets from the expansions, right? But it doesn't work that way. And all of the patterns, there's tons of patterns, and they show you. I don't know if it's based on. Oh, I guess that's over here for the colors and stuff. But it's got. Yeah, I mean it. And then you can say randomize and say a low percentage, and I think that's what this means. Maybe this is a sound thing. I was playing with this a little bit. Every time you click it, it's random. So if you want rhythm that's unique that nobody else is gonna have, this is one way to get it, is with the. Then they have smart controls for how it's gonna randomize. You can hit the remixes button and generate. So now up here, it will make a whole bunch of rhythmic variations for you based on the groove. So it's weird. And I got 3 expansions I bought the pack with all of this. Yeah, it's confusing. They haven't quite made it clear. It's like each expansion has presets, and the presets are kind of that flavor of grooves. So I would want to go here and see those expansions so I could play patches. Venus Theory did a library for it, right? So I want to play, if you go through, oh, is it not showing any? Let's see if we go like expansions. I don't know if it's going to do it right, but one of these things is from Venus Theory. So I wanted to check out his patterns that he made, but they're included. And if it says included in Playbeat, you think it would click somewhere and it would say where they are or something. Instead, it just goes back to the Playbeat by page. So I hope they clarify this a little bit. Oh, now it goes to oh, wait. Oh, so now maybe they've modified it to where you can add them to your cart, because it used to be that it went just to the Playbeat page. Maybe they've updated it so you can re-download the expansions. They didn't write back to me to explain that they did this, but it adds it to your cart. So now at least you can add the expansions to the cart, that even though it says included in Playbeat, if you click this, oh, now it just lets you download them. Okay, so I don't know. They've been modifying things based on a communication I've been having with them to try to make this more clear. Here's the one from Venus Theory. It's like, I'd want to play with that. See, you click that, it goes to the product page. So they haven't fixed this for everything. And that doesn't tell me anything. So it's confusing. It's a really interesting source for random kind of, you're not going to go here for drums and percussion and stuff like that, but for synthy stuff, you know, it's pretty cool. I like some of the rhythm stuff that they've done. The ability that you can go over here, turn off the patch page, and just say generate. And I think you can modify these. And if you modify them, if I go here and then I come back there, it remembers them. So you can, it's kind of like the Breaktwaker thing where you've got different keys for 2 octaves of patterns that you make based on these sounds. And so you do have controls for timing and rhythm and stuff like that. I wish its editor was a little bit more with doubles and triples, and you know, I'm not sure. I guess you have different pages you can get to for other things, but there's density, there's pitch, there's volume. So you do have the ability, I guess, to get in and change parameters for the to work. So yeah, Playbeat is cool. I thank them. They sent it to me for checking it out, so I wanted to tell you about it. So shout out from Norway. You might have to re-download and reinstall. Oh, okay. Download and reinstall. Okay, good to know. Good to know. And you have to load the downloaded packs from within the user interface. Oh, let's see if we can get to that, just so we see. So if you go over here, packs, not import packs. If you go packs, there's browse more packs, I guess, from here. Let's see. I think that opens up a website. So you don't have the store built into the website itself. So yeah, if you click, watch it did it a couple of times. Like, let's see if we close this, close this, close this. If you click the browse more packs, it's gonna open up a website for you. So it's not built in. So it's still a little bit of a mystery. I hope they make it more clear where everything is, because, and I explained to them, I said, I want to tell my customers about this, but we're patch hounds. And if something has patches, I want to see them, know that I have them and that I can play them and work with them and see what people do. Oh, well, no, here's the thing. I wanted to download it, and on the website, you can't download a lot of the packs. That was the confusing thing, is if you go to the expansions, right? And you go down here to Playbeat, so you're just looking at the Playbeat libraries, right? If it says included in Playbeat, if you click this, it goes to the Playbeat webpage. You can't download it. I don't have any way to download. I guess maybe if I logged in and went to my user account, I haven't checked there. Maybe they're just all listed there automatically. I don't know. But they don't make it very clear. So I thought they could use a little more clarity, and they didn't clear it up for me. So I wanted to have more answers for you guys before we got to this point of talking about it. But anyway, yeah, okay. Anyway, there has to be a solution to it, because, you know, word sound patch, if it's included in Playbeat, then it's already in the list. Well, they don't make it clear if it's included in the list. That's the thing. You go here, it's all PB4. Nothing says, if it says included in Playbeat, right? So let's see, if I go to like distort 2, it's like, well, where does it say distort 2, you know? It doesn't say TTN. Like, here's all these tech house, right? So here's tech house slam. and then Tech House. But if you look over here at the libraries, there's no library that says Tech House. So, you know, it's just confusing. Let's see, let's get down here. There's no, EXEA is Venus Theory's library, right? So if I go over here and I go search EXEA, I would expect it to show up the patches in that library if it truly is what it says that it's in. It says right there, included in Playbeat, but I searched and it's not there. So I'm confused. If I'm confused, I would think others would be confused. I didn't get from their tech support. They answered some of the questions, but on the packs in the UI to expand a list of included and important. Okay, well, I hope they can make it more clear because it's a little confusing. But it sounds good, you know. Sounds good. It's got a cool, unique interface. There's a lot of going around between these different pages for the density and so forth. But at least you can edit and get stuff going on. So if you need something like this, Playbeat 4 is been released. So there you go. An audio MIDI. Otherwise, this is 4. Oh well, yeah. So I actually have to go through. The numbers aren't right for the live stream numbers. So I got halfway through the list so far. It's a long, arduous process, but I went back to the very first one and I've been numbering them, but I haven't gotten up to the latest one. So the numbers are wrong. So it's not quite 500. We're at like 300 something or something like that. It's still a very big number. Pretty crazy. All right, I got to go because I've got a birthday for my niece to go to. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for the time. I appreciate you guys hanging out with. It's always fun to see you all and chat and talk about what's going on. Groove Summit will be out next week. I'm not sure what my pricing decisions are yet. I'm still working on that. Great. Good to hear from you in Amsterdam. Shout out from Eagle, Idaho. Shout out to Wave Sequencer. Dude, may the creative energy just be flowing great. He's working on UNIFY 2 as we speak. Taylor, thank you as always for your help, my friend. Shout out to Tim and Fred Nongot and all the wonderful people that contribute to the website. Appreciate all of you. Shout outs. There's Taylor right there. Poland, look at that. Poland, France, Wales, Louisville, Sweden, Colorado, Ken up in Washington. Good to see you all. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Alcel from Switzerland. Hey, nice. I haven't seen you before. Hello, Switzerland. I love Swiss truffles. So good. New Zealand. Yay. Hi, Bulldog. So fun. It's just so cool. We all get to hang out around the world and chat. It's just kind of a cool thing. So we'll do it again next week, same time. So if you had a good time, if you have questions, email us. If you have ideas for live streams, if you have a question about UNIFY you want to see covered, all that stuff we put right into the next live stream. So thank you all. Have a great creative week. I'm going to be programming till I can't every day. And we'll talk to you all soon, okay? Cheers, everybody.